Hi, my name is Eva Schulz, and I'm joined by Masha Efrosynina here in the YouTube studio at the Munich Security Conference. Masha is a super famous TV and YouTube personality in Ukraine. She does entertaining TV shows, has an interview format on YouTube, and is also a human rights activist. And Masha, just as all Ukrainians, your life changed dramatically last year due to Putin's invasion of your country. And I wonder, how has that affected your work?
My work totally.
Mhm.
I had a very beautiful life, as I can say, and it's interesting, Eva, that you can pronounce these words. I had a beautiful life when you lose it.
Mhm.
Because while we are living, while we are doing a lot of things like working, career, different projects, and so on, you always need something more.
Mhm.
And when you lose this everything, you understand that that was the best years of your life. So I had several shows on TV.
Mhm.
I had my shows on my YouTube channel. I had a lot of meetings. I have like a special project in my life since 2015 when I go through the whole Ukraine with my speeches, with my motivation speeches. I
Mhm.
have thousands of women of audience in every city. That was my life, and everything was on stop.
Mhm. And I get that most of the content that you used to produce was for entertaining
Yeah.
purposes. And I wonder that now, after 1 year of death and destruction and trauma for the people that you normally reached as an audience, are they still up for entertainment? Do they even need it, maybe? Or do you have to change like the content you're working on?
It's a very interesting question, and it's a very interesting topic because we're close to 1 year of
Mhm.
big and terroristic war in my country, and there are different phases and different periods of it. I remember the springtime when the big war began. We say in Ukraine big invasion, big war, because we all know that the war began in
Yes.
2014 when Putin uh, occupied Crimea and Donbass. But the real terroristic invasion began in February 2022. And I remember those days, those months of spring, when I even forgot how to smile.
Mm.
So everybody knows me in Ukraine like a very funny person. I
Mhm.
like jokes. I have a sense of humor. I like humor. I thought I was living for 43 years of my life thinking that everything could be solved by a good joke.
Mhm.
Everybody knows me like this. But I forgot physically how to smile. I saw
Mm.
it my videos and my photos, and I was looking like we were all looking like dead people because everything died inside. You
Mm.
don't understand. So your mind, your progressive mind, your human mind, your physical mind, nothing can understand how it can happen in 21st century. It cannot.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful comfortable bed where I sleep for 15 years and for 15 years with my husband, and we love this bed. We have a very sexy bed, and never could imagine that I will wake up because of explosion.
Mm. Mhm.
Can you imagine? I don't want you to
No,
imagine.
no.
And that's it. This is the um, moment of transformation. Then became summer. And then we understood that living in total stress, tragedy, and tears all the time, it's impossible to live, to continue to live,
Mm.
because you have children. We moved when we ran from Ukraine. We took our dog. You have dog. Dog is ill. You have all the normal problems. They didn't stop. You have
Mm.
to continue living. And as far as I understand, very interactive with my audience, I understood that they had the same problems. And then I started to talk a little bit with them. But summer was the period of hope.
Mhm.
We lived with the feeling, very strong feeling, that everything will be over soon. I don't know why. Maybe this is the psychology of human beings, that everything will finish very, very soon. Just we need to wait for a couple of weeks and it will be over. That's why I started to talk to my audience in summer, and we were very close to this hope. I remember summer like a very hopeful time. And I decided to come back. I was packed, and everyone's coming back. I remember these kilometers of lines on the border.
Of people wanting to get back in.
People got back, and you could stay in this line for a week. It's crazy, but all the people went home. Because for this period, we understood there is nothing place better than your home. No place better than your home.
That's also an important sentence coming from a refugee, right? Because there are so many thoughts and misconceptions about refugees and their aims and goals.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And then October came, and then Russian terrorists began to use rockets and bombs from Iran. And I can remember this can't forget it, 10th of October, when near my university, I went there for 5 years, the National University in the center of Kiev, there is a huge bomb destruction. The bomb in the 8 in the morning during the traffic, one of the hard traffic of everyday people going to work, kindergarten, school, there was a rocket and bomb into the street. And that was for me the second beginning of terroristic panic inside everybody in Ukraine. We understood that nothing will finish soon. This is not the end. We are not coming to the end. This is just the beginning of awful things, because winter is coming. Then they destroyed energy, and this is how I answer your question about entertainment mood. No, people, Ukrainians are so strong and so unbroken in their purpose of victory that they got used to live with this. We have a lot of memes. We have a lot of jokes in social media.
It's a coping mechanism.
Today in the morning, I saw in social media something like, "Oh, they say that some beings from other planets came to invade our Earth." Oh, okay, it's just February for Ukrainians, you know? This is like something like that. People got through a terrific war without light, without electricity, without warmth, without water. We got through this because if you come to Kiev, we everywhere have generators. I have a big bath and it's always full of water. I always it's full of water just to use it if it disappears for days. So now my life is between Kiev and Europe, and I spend more and more time in Kiev because everybody is awakening. I continue to make content for my YouTubes. I refreshed my interviews. I started to talk to the same celebrities, same heroes, but in the condition of war. Like we are talking with you right now about our feelings and all the transformations. And people can live only when they have hope, and Ukrainians have it.
And you also started an initiative because there are so many, like especially women who are victim of this war in different ways from men and who are traumatized in different ways. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing there, the work that you're doing there?
I have my foundation. We founded it in peaceful times because all my activity, like the ambassador of UN, is about domestic violence. We had pretty much problems with that. And domestic violence was one of the social problems of Ukraine. And I struggled a lot. But our foundation transformed the activity into the help of women tortured by occupants, raped by them, all the women and children, and unfortunately elder people who were raped by these monsters. I can't call them humans. I can't, because I can see and I could see what they have been done with people, with women, with children, what they have been done. I even now stop myself from pronouncing that, because as I have said, normal person cannot understand how you can torture a woman on the eyes of her child, then you cut her hands, and then you fire her on the eyes of her child, and then child goes and takes his life, because he will never be able to live with that he or she have been seen. And we have hundreds of these stories, and I'm afraid that we have thousands of untalking stories, because this is the level of trauma that goes deeply, deeply inside a person, and she doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to think, and of course she doesn't want to go to the police and think about justice in this level of trauma. And my foundation is working with these situations. We try to get them back to life, if it's possible to say like this.
And how do you do that?
We have psychologists. We have the best specialists in our country who worked with trauma. Of course, they study all the time. From Munich, I go to Israel. There are great specialists which will continue learning my people, my specialists, to work with the trauma of such a sexual violence. And the number of these people increases greatly because they now is the period when this trauma has stabilized in them, and we have pretty much worked with that. But all the world is helping us. Then I go to Canada, then to America, and we always get the new information, new education in this topic, because the psychological trauma will be the next period of problems with all the population of Ukraine after our victory.
Now we're sitting here right at the place where the Munich Security Conference is taking place, and the war in Ukraine was on top of everyone's agenda here. 1 year ago, I think for many people in Europe, Ukraine was not even on their mental map.
Yes.
So I think we all learned a lot about your country over the last 12 months. What would you say is still the biggest misconception about Ukraine that people have?
I think nobody, including Ukrainians themselves, could not imagine that we are so strong in our unity. Because, okay, I have my personal story. As far as I told, I am married for 20 years. This year will be 20 years. We have a new anniversary with my husband.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I hope to celebrate it with him. He is a very, very successful businessman. He used to work in government, in the government of President Poroshenko and President Zelensky. He's a very successful man. I adore him. But when he said, I go to fight, I understood that I am absolutely helpless, like woman. So we have 2 children, beautiful daughter, small son, and I'm absolutely helpless, like a woman who is afraid for her man.
Yes.
I cannot do anything to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yes. I only
20
just,
years
yes.
of everything, giving birth to our children, our crises, our careers. He's standing in all these
uniform,
clothes.
yes.
Awful, I hate these clothes. armed clothes, these awful, terrific green, taking his arms, making his Hamlet and all of these, and saying, I want Russians to go fucking away from my country. I want to fight for my house, everything that we have built with you. Just let me do this. This is what you have to know about Ukrainians. There are not only soldiers there. We all are soldiers. We all are fighters. We are not victims. I spent a lot of hours of in different conferences, congresses, a lot of speeches, everything, starting with that we are not victimizing ourselves. This is necessary to understand. All of our speeches just give us a weapon. This is not just give us weapon. We don't want anything else. Don't give us people or don't come to fight for us. Just give us instruments. And this small country will fight. It continues fighting for a year. There is no person in our country who has not lost somebody. We lost our friends. My child lost his teacher. I cannot still tell my son that he has lost his favorite teacher. And we continue fighting. We don't want negotiations. We don't have, okay, let's just stop this. We are tired. We are fighting because nobody can right to come to our homes and to take it.
I very much feel for you, Masha. It's what I find impressive is that any Ukrainian person that now goes on the international stage like you has so much pressure to take on, because you're not only the entertainment person anymore or the human rights activist. Yeah. You are a representative of your country. So it's really, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you. Sorry.
I can only imagine the pressure that must be on you. I would like to ask as a final question. I understand that your community sees you being here at the security conference and again representing your country here as maybe even a political step. They are wondering. I mean, we can hear you talk so strongly. Like, is that an option? Like, you're giving a very impressive account of people fighting on different front lines. Your husband being in the uniform on the front line, but maybe would the political front line be one for you, or do you want to go back to your job and?
I just want everything to start. Okay, Eva, when I look at Zelensky, I used to work with him actually a lot. And I adore him and I adore Elena, his wife. I'm always thinking, oh my God, we are standing this, everything this. How can he stand everything like this? And politics is a very difficult science for me, because as far as you see about all the Ukrainians, Zelensky himself, he's very criticized, for example, that he is not under the protocol. He's always dressed as she wants. All the Ukrainians are absolutely unbroken. So we are something like a new science for the global humanity. But nevertheless, politics is too complicated. We are very straight, just we are ready to do what I have said. And for me, all these talks are too complicated, and all these things that are behind scenes are too, are too losing time. That's why maybe still I'm not ready to politics, because I'm too emotional, I am too exhausted, and but I know how many women are behind my back. First, I need to help them. As we say in my foundation, we have to renovate women. for them could help renovate our men and our country after our victory.
I take that as the closing statement. Masha Efrosynina, thank you so much for sharing
You're
this with
good
me.
with my last name.
I practiced.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you very much.